Welcome back to the Citizen Channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. And our part two, yes, part two, the boys of 11-12 and part two of Mr. Nigel de Jong. So we're going to carry on looking at that. Please, if you've not checked out part one, go back and have a look at that before you listen to this part two. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out, City past, present and forever. And of course, I do little stuff on film and TV as well. If that's if you want to have a break from football, have a look at those as well. I try and inform and entertain on there. But this is the Citizen Channel. This is all about the boys of 11-12. We look back at the guys who played during that momentous season for our wonderful club. Please, any thumbs up you can give me? Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's see. We ended part one. Yes, obviously Mancini took over from Mark Hughes, and obviously de Jong had sort of fell out a little bit with Mark Hughes, and Mancini had sort of put him back as one of the first names on the team sheet. But by the end of the 9-10 season, even that wasn't guaranteed. There was a few little problems sort of just under an undercurrent, but obviously it wasn't overly obvious to the fans, that's for sure. So as we pick up season 10-11, we'll look into this a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, it started very badly. It turned a little bit sour very early in October as a typical hard tackle by Nigel de Jong broke the leg of Newcastle winger Hatem Ben Arfa. He got away without any further FA punishment despite Newcastle banging the drum and appealing for further action and a very long ban for Nigel de Jong. But the Dutch manager at the time, he made his feelings very clear. He actually dropped him from the next Dutch international squad as well. And we always know with de Jong, he was always a little bit close. Sometimes he wasn't so close. So we remember certain tackles in the World Cup. But he got away with it. But yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute with the King of the Kippax conclusions on this season. But there's certainly the Dutch manager wasn't happy. That's for sure. But he put that all behind him, and he was continued to be dominant in front of the back four. But an injury in Feb kept him out for a few games. Possibly more than anything led to City stumbling that season in the title race. Obviously, the King of the Kippax end of season report on him was equally gushing. This was from the King of the Kippax August 2011 issue. John Burfield wrote in there, I'll just quote excerpt from the fanzine. Owen de Jong, what a player. Does he ever have a bad game? With the possible exception of Michael Essien, who hurts teams at both ends of the pitch, there surely can't be a better defensive midfielder in the business. Tackle after tackle after tackle, followed by accurate, simple passing, the subject of an absolutely disgraceful witch hunt early in the season, under a microscope of which lesser men would have gone to pieces, a City legend already to borrow from the great Withnail. Imagine getting into a fight with the Fucker. Yeah, so if you're a student with Withnail and you'll know what he's talking about. So there you go. I mean, of course, de Jong scored his first goal for Manchester City in a 2-1 victory against West Ham United on the 1st of May 2011. And the fans had a joke at his expense in previous games he played, because never a prolific scorer of goals. We'll talk about how many goals he scored for us, not many, in a little while. The fans would shout, shoot, if he got anywhere near the opponent's box. And it's a bit like Mr. Walker, Kyle Walker, as I'm doing this vlog. Bit of shouts of shoot go up when he gets away near, because obviously he does score the odd one, but it's more in fun, more in jest than actually seriousness. And it wasn't a tap-in, obviously, this goal he scored. It was a 20-yard drive. And for once, the fans' shout had been shut up. They'd been shut. Obviously, he did shoot and he scored a goal. So at least he shut them up, certainly for that game anyway. De Jong, of course, was a key member of the City side, which won the 2010-11 FA Cup just 13 days after scoring his first ever goal for City, and ending, of course, 35 years of hurt for us Blues, which we put up with, didn't we? Yeah, may have scored the winner, but the Manchester Evening News had de Jong as the star man of that game. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Just reading from their match report and ratings. Nigel de Jong, he'd have been my man of the match ahead of Sponsor's Choice Super Mario. The Dutchman's tackling and positioning were impeccable, particularly early on as the strong-armed Stoke tried to impose themselves on a match that gradually slipped away. So there you go. Most thought he was the man of the match for the FA Cup final. And of course, De Jong would also get a taste of Champions League football for the first time as City finished third and continuing to the 2011-12 season. He still had the added responsibility with Vincent Kompany of looking after a certain Mario Balotelli both on and off the pitch, trying to keep under control, which was a thankless task at the best of times. He will score his second and final City goal in this momentous season, 11-12. Sadly, it was in a 2-2 draw at Anfield, which wasn't enough to see us through, of course, to the Carling Cup final after we'd lost the home leg 1-0. But at least I got to see both goals, because I was at Anfield that night as well. So at least I got to see two. There you go. That's how many he scored for us. He's both goals for City in his stay with us. Of course, he was involved in the build-up of the legendary Aguero goal. If you watch back on highlights, you'll see that versus QPR to clinch the title. And he'd actually come on just before half-time. This is where more cracks were showing, really, for an injured Yaya. He hadn't actually started this game. But obviously, in his player rating in the Manchester Evening News, it read simply for this game, very, very short and succinct, held the fort as City piled forward. But the writing, as I said, the cracks had been showing, the writing was on the wall. De Jong had started the last 4 games of that momentous season, 2011-12, which is the title of this vlog, on the bench. He started all 4 games, although he did manage to get on the pitch in all 4. But there were problems behind the scenes that the fans weren't particularly aware of. And it's interesting because in the King of the Kippax August 2012 edition, summary of the players for the season, Tom Parrish did an end-of-season report with no hint of what was to come. He wrote about De Jong, "Mr. Krabby has proved his doubters wrong. The times when he's looked most impressive this season have been when dropping a delightfully unexpected chip-through ball into the area, or splitting the defence with a pass from deep, or spreading the ball to the wings, or quickly driving the ball forwards, or scoring a screamer from distance." Not too many of those guys. But his defensive game has also suffered. His desperate tackling works best when he's got Barry alongside. But when we're trying to apply pressure, he just can't cover all that space. We've done a lot more attacking this season, and he's gradually changing his game to adapt. Do you see him pass sideways anymore? ? Not too often. I stand by my view 2 years ago that he is and will remain one of the current City greats. Big words from Tom Parrish. And assuming he's not got Kia whispering in his ear about earning more money, he'll be wearing sky blue for a few years yet. But there you go. Right and wrong in the same paragraph from Mr. Tom Parrish there. He sort of was hinted at it. Read between the lines, and the clues were there. There were problems, and it was hinted that De Jong obviously wanted a rise, and City weren't prepared to meet his demands. They didn't think he was worth the rise that he was after. There have been stalled contract talks for over 12 months, and this has partly been perhaps to blame for why he'd fell out of fashion as far as playing for City is concerned. Even though, as I say, he never let us down when he stepped on the pitch, and he was still with City at the start of course, the 2012-13 season, and he started the first 3 competitive games. He started at Villa Park. Was there for that game, the Community Shield, which was played at Villa Park because of renovations to Wembley. Saints at home, a 3-2 win, and Liverpool away, a 2-2 draw. But by the QPR game on the 1st of September, it's out of the blue for most of us. I think at the time he joined AC Milan I think he joined about 31st of August. So he'd made 137 appearances for City and scored just the twice, but that's not what we bought him for. We didn't buy him as a goal scorer, did we? His honours with City, of course, a Premier League title, 11-12, we can't take that away from him, an FA Cup medal, of course, and a Community Shield. So only the 3, but hey, not too bad, a lot more than many City players have got before that period, that's for sure. In the Citizens Members Handbook of 2016-17, a while after he'd left, Nigel made the ultimate City squad. Yes, despite only the 137 appearances. And Mike Summerby, old buzzer, said of him, a ball winner who did a fine job as a defensive midfielder. He kept things simple and would win the ball and give it to somebody who could use it effectively. Nigel de Jong has said that himself at the very, very outset of joining City, as we talked about in part 1. He knew his job, said Buzzer, and his limitations, but what he did extremely well. And I think most fans, me included, would agree with that assessment. Perhaps he left too soon, but that was his choice, of course, because of the situation with money. And say there was an undercurrent that we weren't aware of, and that was the reason I think he left City perhaps a little bit too soon than we would have liked. And certainly Tom Parrish was commenting there he could be in Sky Blue for years to come. And he certainly would have stayed with most City fans' pleasure, to be honest with you. But he holds no grudges. We can see that, and obviously Mancini himself, say with these contract talks stalling, wasn't really seeing him, as we saw by the end of the season, as one of the first names on the team sheet. And it's great. It's great now to see him doing a lot of media stuff, and he's always good. He's always banging the blue drum, so that's fantastic. Say he doesn't hold any grudges. He's always banging the drum for the blue cause. And of course, it's nice that our legends are there shouting, keeping the faith with Manchester City. So that's Mr. Nigel de Jong, one of the boys of 11-12, and a well-worthy participant in a wonderful season, despite a few little cracks and things that he always did it. We always relied on Nigel to do his best for Manchester City. Thanks for joining me for this little look at the 11-12 and Nigel de Jong. Please let me know any personal memories you got or any thoughts on Nigel de Jong. This is only skims the surface, of course. You could probably go on for a long, long time about certain games, certain matches. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your personal memories and comments. That'd be great to see. Anyway, thanks for watching. What we're going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To me here again on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.